Welcome to Living Life, the show that allows you to pursue things that make you happy, curious, and keep you open-minded. This is Living Life on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network.
Hello, and welcome to Living Life, Organize, and Thrive. I'm Camille Prunka, a professional organizer and coach with refreshingly candid coaching and organizing. Today, we are talking about falling in love with your to-do list. Sometimes we have a love-hate relationship with all of the tasks we need to accomplish. It's great to have an organized way to track all the things you have going on, and it's even better to check them off when they are done. Still, it can be overwhelming to see everything you need to do, or worse, it's upsetting to feel like tasks keep carrying over to another day and you aren't making progress. The way to get back the warm and fuzzy feelings which come with being a productive goal getter is prioritizing. Before we get to the details, be sure to like and subscribe this video so you can see more of the incredibly helpful shows which are part of the Living Life podcast, as brought to you by the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. Follow Living Life on social media at Living Life ETB on Facebook and Twitter. So let's talk about prioritizing. Organizing your to-do list is the first step to making progress and feeling in control of your time and your goals. Being able to easily identify your priorities, the real ones, as opposed to the ones just masquerading as urgent ticking time bombs, you will feel less stressed. You'll find it easier to focus. You'll improve your overall productivity, enhance your time management skills, and achieve work-life balance. So it's a list to fall in love with. Prioritizing in its simplest form is knowing everything you need to do and then ranking it in order of importance. Sounds easy, right? Not really. That's a super oversimplification. So you play a lot of roles in your life: employee, supervisor, partner, parent, child, sibling, volunteer, friend. You have responsibilities in all of these roles, and they might appear to compete with each other. So how exactly do you get it all done? Today, we're going to explore 4 strategies to help you hone your prioritizing skills. First, let's talk about your actual to-do list. Where do you keep it? Do you keep it on paper, in an app, an electronic document, in your head? Any way you keep your list is fine, as long as it is not in your head. It takes too much brain power to keep everything you need or want to do up there without a backup. So, keeping an actual concrete list gives your brain the ability to stop focusing on remembering tasks and start looking at how to get them done efficiently. How you structure your list matters too. So I've seen people keep separate lists based on the roles they have in their lives. They have 2 lists for work, one for tasks as a supervisor and one for tasks as an employee. Then they have separate lists for things that they need to do for the children and another list for things related to their spouse. While this sounds very sophisticated, it's actually not very efficient. Tasks overlap our roles, and who has the time to consult all these separate lists? I know I don't. So I've known others who keep their lists based on location. So they have a list for work, a list for home, a list for school. And again, we have tasks which need to be accomplished in more than one place. So, where do you put the schoolwork you'll be working on this weekend while you're home? Which list does it go on? Keeping multiple to-do lists is really cumbersome and it requires a lot of extra work. You are one complete person, so you should have one complete list. And why? You might ask why? Well, let's be honest. We are constantly getting new tasks as we go through our day. So your boss tells you to update a document. Your partner texts you to pick up some dinner rolls on the way home from work. Your child will text and say that they need their permission slip signed for the class field trip. And then your BFF is going to send you a DM and want to plan a girls' weekend. So, do you really have time to get to the right list to add this task, or would you rather just add it to your main list? Keeping one main list allows you to organize everything by tasks you need to do today, this week, this month, and then someday. So, your main list will allow you to naturally prioritize where you need to focus your attention. The second way to get your most urgent tasks completed is to investigate what time of day you are most productive. I call it your strength session. So, if you're a morning person, you'll want to focus on your hardest, most complex tasks first thing. Then, as your energy and your attention wane, you'll want to accomplish much easier tasks. So, the goal here is to match your highest priority tasks with your peak productivity hours. Your strength session should be dedicated to one truly important task. And this will allow you to make as much progress as possible. Still, you need to be realistic about what you can accomplish. Don't overestimate how much you can accomplish in your strength session. Leave some time and space for the unexpected because it will happen. Being able to manage interruptions, new tasks, and delays while still making some progress is a huge accomplishment. We should remember everything we tackle gracefully during the day and celebrate it. In the end, prioritizing is all about checking off a task and feeling like a rock star. Otherwise, why keep a to-do list? So we'll be right back after a quick break, and we'll talk about two more ways to help you prioritize your main to-do list.
Hi, I'm Jerry Barmash. Join me for Here Now the News. It's an entertaining one-on-one interview featuring newsmakers and much more, whether it's political or pandemic related, someone from the media or an author. You'll find it here. A fun chat. And hopefully you'll learn something too. Recent guests have included Petrie Hawkins-Byrd, the former Judge Judy bailiff, legendary game show host Bob Eubanks, and Matt Asner, son of famed actor Ed Asner. Subscribe and share. Don't miss Here Now the News as part of the Empty the Bench podcast network.
Welcome back to Living Life, Organize and Thrive. We've been talking about prioritizing your to-do list so you can start to love your days again. If you are looking for more strategies to organize your physical space and your time, follow Refreshingly Candid Coaching and Organizing on Facebook at Refreshingly Candid and on Instagram at refreshingly.candid. Lots of information is also available on the blog at refreshinglycandid.com. Prioritizing has given you a main list of things to do, which is sorted by daily, weekly, and monthly tasks, including your biggest goals. Then you're finding your strength session, a period of the day when you are at your absolute best to get things done. This is the time to work on your most important task of the day. When you match your strength session with your most urgent tasks, you are setting yourself up for success. Still, we can take this main list of things to do and get really analytical and unrelenting with it. So, real talk. Are there things on your to-do list which never get checked off and no one's impacted by them not getting done? So, if you do, why are you torturing yourself by keeping them there and constantly reminding yourself you haven't got the time to successfully complete them? We all do it. So, this is when we start making tough decisions and take prioritizing to the next level. I call it life in 4D. The 4Ds are do, defer, delegate, and delete. Take a look at your current main list. If something is immediate and takes 5 minutes or less, do it. Check it off and move on. If it takes longer than 5 minutes and must be done by you, Think about putting it in your strength session tomorrow. Next, take a close look at all the things which can wait a bit longer and defer them to later. If nothing is impacted by sitting on this for a few days, put it to the side and come back to it when your list is under control. Now it's time to find one thing you can have someone else do for you. Let's delegate at least one thing on the list. It doesn't have to be a huge task. It can be as simple as using a grocery delivery service. Someone else is food shopping for you. One less thing on your list. It's brilliant. Delegating doesn't have to be something you do at work. You can delegate at home by hiring a cleaning service, ordering delivery for dinner, using a laundry service, or asking a friend to carpool so every other week your kids have a ride to soccer. Delegating is magical. Finding low or no cost solutions to have others take care of your responsibilities at home so you have more time to enjoy with family or to relax is like finding a unicorn. What's not to love? The fourth D in Life in 4D is my absolute favorite. Delete. Just delete anything on your list you haven't gotten around to and won't find time for. If a task is bringing little to no value to your life, don't do it and cross it out anyway. It's liberating. The Life in 4D method provides clarity when considering priorities, especially when you use the system without apology. It's fine to ask for help, so don't apologize when you delegate. The earth will continue to spin if you stop making that craft you're not really enjoying anyway. Delete it from your to-do list and give the remaining supplies to someone who will enjoy using them. Life is too short to be stuck doing it all. The last prioritizing system we are going to talk about today is one you've probably heard of before. It's called the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle tells us that we get 80% of our results from 20% of the work we do. You have tasks which bring you amazing ROI. If you can find the 20% of your work which brings you the 80% of your success and focus on it during your strength session, you will be unstoppable. If you can take 80% of the tasks which bring you the least return overall and defer, delegate, and delete them, you will be laser focused on your true priorities. Combining the 4 strategies we've talked about today, making one main to-do list, finding your strength session, living life in 4D, and the Pareto principle, that makes prioritizing a piece of cake. Once your day is prioritized, you'll feel accomplished, successful, and much less stressed. Taking the time to properly prioritize enables you to make the most of your time and energy, which is the best gift that you can give to yourself. So we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, I'll be answering your organizing questions. You're watching Living Life, Organize and Thrive on the Empty the Bench podcast network.
Hi, Howie Morganson here from Living Life, Sweets, Treats, and Eats on the Empty the Bench podcast network. As you can see, it's all about the food and lots of it. On each podcast, we're going to make dishes that I have discovered and found out there, things that I've fixed for my family that they really enjoyed. It's all about the food and how to enjoy it. It's also simple dishes that you can put together on your own. We'll show you techniques on how to prepare the food. We'll show you how to serve it and display it. So it's all about the food, and we hope you can join us. So again, Sweets, Treats, and Eats on the Empty the Bench podcast network. I hope you can join us.
Welcome back to Living Life, Organize and Thrive. I'm Camille Prunka. It's time now to answer your organizing questions. What are you struggling with? Send an email to hello@refreshinglykcandid.com to have your question answered during the podcast. I'd love to be able to help. Our first question today comes from Maria in Westchester, New York. She asks, what is the first step out of big clutter and overwhelm? Well, first, let me say that big clutter and overwhelm can make you feel like you're being crushed, like you can't breathe. It can Lots of clutter can cause anxiety and sleep problems. You can have very real physical symptoms which come about because of the condition of your environment. So, any step that you are able to take to start controlling the clutter is a good one. If you are able to remove one thing, celebrate it. If you're able to work for 15 minutes and find some items to donate, reward yourself. It's really all about taking small steps towards the goal of being clutter free. Adding up lots of small steps makes your decluttering and organizing efforts successful. Marathon decluttering sessions are not the answer. Don't think the clutter will be gone in a few days. It took more than a few days to collect all of the extra things you have in your life. It's going to take time to reclaim your space. I suggest walking through one room at a time and removing the items which are easy to discard. Find the obvious donations, recycling, and trash, and then put them outside of the space. Bring the trash and the recycling to a container outside of your home and place the donations in your car. You'll see immediate results, which will encourage you to continue. During the first few times you do this, don't look at anything which will require time for you to make a decision. Save those items for later. If you find items which belong in another room, take a few minutes and put them back. Once you do this process over and over again, you're going to build confidence. So knowing that you can deal with the clutter successfully is going to help you when it's time to look at the items which are tougher for you to think about. I hope that this helps you with your organizing journey, and I really hope you find your way out of the overwhelm. So our next question comes from Summer in Clearwater, Florida. She says, I crochet and I have limited storage for my yarn. Other than plastic totes and bags, how can I better organize it? This is a fantastic question. I love this question. One of my favorite things about being a professional organizer is using a product to store an item it was not created to organize. So some creative ways to store yarn include a wine cabinet or a wall-mounted wine rack, a pegboard with hooks, or even a magazine holder. Between bookends on a shelf is another great way to display yarn. So you might have some of these items in your home already. Also, you can find them relatively inexpensively, especially if they are previously owned. Displaying your yarn adds color and vibrancy to your space. It keeps your projects in sight so you're more likely to work on them, and displays your interest and your love, making your space uniquely yours. Have fun when you're exploring alternative storage options. There are no rules when it comes to organizing. So if you can see it, access it, use it, and put it away neatly, it's organized. Be creative and find the storage which works for you. So I have an example here of what yarn storage would look like in a magazine holder. So this is a magazine holder from IKEA. It comes in a 2-piece set. And what you could do is actually just turn it on its side. So this way you can stack your lovely colors of yarn right in here. And it is a fabulous way to keep them organized in a very untraditional way. So I hope that gives you some inspiration to look at the things that need to get organized in your home and find a new and unique way to display them. If you would like more ideas on getting organized, please check out my website at refreshinglycandid.com. There is a blog there with photos and some unique ways to be able to control the clutter in your home and really find and curate a space that will let you enjoy your life. So I thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a pleasure to be able to connect with you. And I hope that you will join us next time on Living Life, Organize, and Thrive.